Hey everybody, I'm Tommy, and you're on the lifeboat. What's happening? I guess I'm Admiral Tommy Scoville, and you're on the lifeboat. Yeah, you heard me, Admiral Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. The kid took the captain's chair last night, and well, I was happy with him. I really was. I thought he hit it out of the park. I thought he very much has his own voice, which is really cool, and I thought it was pretty funny to and some great perspective to pull up my first live. Was a really great idea, and you know what? I had a pretty good time watching it. Good morning, my friend Sarah from Boston. JD, good to see you. Sandy Wendy, Brazy Girl, how are you? Jennifer Folsom, Christy Foy. Hello, Christy. Creepy 5, Resident 8, Matrix with Matrix Rabbit. Right, DeAudrey Gore. Hey, Midnight Show. SB. You know, I see Life's Good, and I can hear the song Life's Been Good to Me so far in my head. Love that song. One of those songs can always turn your day around. Sarita, how are you? Joanne, good to see you. Stay Spiria, the queen of awkwardness. Hey, Dennis, also from Boston. Avena Sativa. You notice we had a lot of people from Massachusetts here? That's right. I can give field commissions as an admiral. I forgot about that. See all this cool stuff. Lady Tina Marie. And Jennifer Folsom, good to see you. Hey, Shauna Bay. Mira Deer is here. All right, should we get this thing underway? Let's talk about whatever we want to, shall we? Well, we should probably start with last night. It's tell you what we do here. Hold on. Check this out. There we go. I think you're good. Check this out. This is the world. All right. I've got that kitchen witch, Suzanne, Miss Sunrise Dawn, Carol Barnhart. Why does that name sound familiar? Because there's an actress with a similar name or something. Slow moving day for you. Hey, you know what? It happens to the best of us. So let's start with last night, shall we? I'm going to tell you a story before I get rolling. Susie Q, good to see you. Hey, Sherry Lynn. Christy Hughes, also from Massachusetts. So you know why there are so many people from Massachusetts here, don't you? Because you're all on drugs. No, I'm kidding. But no, the whole country is. Good morning, Karen Allen. So here's the deal. Yesterday, Spanky took over the captain's chair, and I told him that I would pull some morning shows until he gets more used to the routine. He's always up in the morning, but you know what? You got to be up in the morning you kind of have to be up for a while, because when you sit in the chair, you kind of have to have your head in the game, or your snap, or your beer. I don't know how to describe it, but I've never been able to wake up and do it. I got to be up for a few hours to do it. And I said I would help him in the mornings for a few weeks until he can sort of really phase in. But I was with his mom, right? And this would have been maybe 23 years ago, maybe 22 years ago, somewhere in there. We were in California. Yeah, Callahan needs to be awake for several hours before he's human, if he really wants to be honest. But your drug sources were from Philly, which is a hotbed for the, Trank and Fent. There's so much there right now, Avena Sativa, please. Yeah, you're so right, man. Right now, Kensington is like ground zero for that toxic crap. And bathtub versions of it. I mean, honestly, here's the deal. There's Trink everywhere. It's all over the country, right? It's been found in every single state. Trink is everywhere. But for whatever reason, the really horrific skin lesions and all of the stuff that we see, from photos of Kensington, that seems to be very specific to that area. So I don't know whether they're just, they're cutting it in, just disgusting places, what the deal is. But boy, oh boy, it seems to be a bathtub version of that garbage, and it's really been doing people dirty, But So back to my kid. I'm back to the. So I was in California with his mom. This is many moons ago, and we were taking him out to a karate competition. It's one of those awful friggin' trips. We drove in a car, we road tripped, and it was awful. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. You're funny. I love. I used to joke about until Dick Clark died. I thought he was Satan. I really did. I used to tell people all the time. I'm like, that dude got to deal with the devil. Dick Clark looked so good for so long. That's funny as hell, man. It really is. That's funny as hell. But this road, everything that could go wrong on this road trip did. Like we could have made a movie about it. I'm not kidding you. We got a flat tire, right? Just right out the gate. I don't think we were 45 minutes out of Salt Lake. Lisa from Jersey. Man, you've had us scared, or me scared anyway. This is a thank God one. Lisa, I am so glad to see you in the chat. Man, I've been asking about you. I'm glad you're here, man. It was a great launch for the captain. There's no question. But so we got a flat tire heading right out of Salt Lake City, which just plain sucked because I'm the most patient man alive, right? So flat tires are always things that just make me happy. Now at the time, what I had going for me was I was doing mountains, right, of smack. So I was probably a lot more calm at that time than I normally would have been. But right out of Salt Lake, we got a freaking flat tire. I had to pull over, change the tire. We go, we're driving to this competition. We got a hotel room. We get up in the morning. And the reason we got a hotel room is because we don't want Spanks to drive all day and then, have to go and do his competition and everything else. I am so glad to hear that. Glad to hear you're home. You know what? It scares the crap out of me, Lisa. When people go into a hospital and then you hear pneumonia, I'm sorry, man, but maybe it's prison. But when somebody goes to the hospital with pneumonia in prison, you never see them again. Like that's the end. And it just, I was scared crapless. I really was. I brought it up on a couple of live feeds. I'm really glad you're here. So on the way to this gym, we get rear-ended in the car. Not our fault. We didn't do anything. We did end up hitting the car in front of us because the guy behind us hit us so hard that we sort of catapulted into the car in front of us. And I am so glad to hear that you are healing. And I am so glad to hear that you quit 5 months ago. I don't have the Molesky trophy out here, but it is yours. That is huge, Avina, because the stuff that is in that, I am so, God bless and glad to hear that you are off of that stuff. Please keep doing what you're doing. Please keep doing what you're doing. You know what? I had abscesses so bad through my entire process, and I thought I'm never going to be the same. I'm not going to look the same. I got some marks. I got some scars. My arms look like Eddie Van Halen's guitars, but you'll get to a point, I promise. 10, 15 years down the road, 20 years down the road, Avina, you're going to get to a point where you're like, eh. You know what I mean? They're proof you made it. So on the way to this place, we get rear-ended. Cops, right now, of course, I got drugs in the car. The cops show up. It was just awful. And Spanky's mom and myself, both of us, no joke, like not trying to work anything. We didn't even sue her, but both of us had neck trouble instantly because it was one of those things where you got hit from behind, right? Which threw us forward, and then instantly we hit the car in front of us. It was just a really bad situation all the way around. But Spanky was $1 million because that's how kids are, right? He just wanted to get to the arena, and we got him there. And I was telling him the story before we went live yesterday. I'm sitting in the stands with his mother, and he did this thing. They're katas. It's like it almost looks like a dance, but it is one pose into another, and he killed it. He actually medaled in the kata, and I went, oh man, now I went from stressed out dad to like, oh, this is great, and I'm relaxed, and I got my feet up. I probably went and got a beer, because they were selling beer there. I was just all of a sudden everything was great. Big fan of Oxygen, are you, Lisa? I am as well. And then his mother tells me, I said, so when are we out of here? Right? When are we out of here? And she said, no. That's only the first part of that is only the first part of the competition. And I said, well, what's the second part of the competition? I did not, Butterfly. Try me again. She said, well, the fighting. And I mean, Spanky was, he was young, right? So I'm thinking to myself, he's the youngest kid in the room, right? Whoever he fights is going to be bigger. Your daughter Chelsea went to rehab prior to her court date. I believe, sorry, let me see here. I believe it was she went to keep from doing going to jail. Oh yeah, absolutely. This is done constantly, right? Hey, Squirrel Nut. This is something that I've done it. Everybody that's been on drugs has done it. The judge very often will give you a chance, or you can straight run. You know, you got an active warrant. You need to hide, especially if you had money coming in. Like I knew guys that got monthly checks, and if they had a warrant out for $200, right, they would go and turn themselves in for their warrant, pack their prison locker with dope, and go to jail, turn themselves in due time, or go to rehab, turn themselves in due time so that they don't have to go to jail. Very often, though, if you get caught doing dope in rehab, they kick you out, and then usually the judge doesn't have a whole lot of sense of humor about that. Yeah, it happens a lot. Coffee for Spanks Calhoun, and I'll tell you something: the man needs it. Good call. He's a coffee drinker. He just held up a. You have no idea how Calhoun goes through coffee. He needs it. The man is a coffee drinker like few people you've met. He drinks coffee like he's angry. Yes, she is on the prowl. So his mom says to me, the fighting part. And there's a long process as they're pairing these kids up because there's a gazillion of them, right? A gazillion kids here. And I'm looking and I'm like, I'm praying, please pair him up with that kid. Because although that kid was at least a half a foot taller than Spanky, he was the smallest kid in the room other than Spanks. But no, the guy that they put him up against looked a little like me. I mean, minus the goatee, but you know, the kid they put him up against was about 6'2", 210 pounds. And there's my, my 7-year-old or 6-year-old Spanky, and lining up, right? And they're sort of getting into this position. And I'm thinking, this is the kid he's going to fight. And I'm shaking, right? I'm shaking a handful of blue Valiums into my hand, 10 milligram Valiums into my hand, because my heart is going, I'm not kidding. And I'm shaking, right? I'm chewing these things up and washing them down with a beer. And his mom leans over to me and goes, I feel like I'm going to die. I said, man, chew up some Valium. And she's like, I just did, right? And she goes, why are you stressed out? And I go, what are you talking about? And she's like, how many things like this have you been to? Number one, I've never been to a karate deal. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've never been to anything like this in my life. And she goes, well, ski competitions had to be like this. For his mom, the fact that the crowd was there was as big as a problem as the fact that it was your kid getting ready to be in combat. Seriously. And none of this clicked at the time because I was a stupid human being that didn't communicate with the people that I loved. But my fear was that it was Spanks, right? I couldn't do anything. I wanted to run down and punch the kid in the head. He was getting ready to fight before the thing even started. And my heart was in my throat. And I said to his mom, I'm like, I don't think I can be in the room for this, right? What happens if this guy, kicks him in the head? Like, this is no joke combat stuff. And I'm talking to his mom, and I mean, literally, I've never had a panic attack at this point in my life. And if you knew the things I had done, and I've never had a panic attack, and I'm dead square in the middle of one, and I'm doing, what I know to do when anything starts feeling like that, right? I'm not joking you. It was 40 minutes and they announced it, like in 40 minutes, they're starting. And all of the kids basically will square off at the same time. So your kid's fighting on about an 8x8 piece of mat. And right next to him is another group of kids. So if you're not paying attention, you don't even know whether it's your kid getting his butt kicked to somebody else. In the 40 minutes that we waited, I drank a 6-pack. And I'm not being funny. And I'm not a drinker, but I was like this, and I would go up and I'm waving to his mom, right, who was not a beer drinker, by the way. She was a drinker, but she was not a beer drinker. And I'm waving to his mom because the guy I'm buying the beer from is looking at me like, what the hell is this dude's deal, right? I mean, I'm walking off with two of them and going, just pouring them down. It was absolutely awful. It was literally one of the worst days of my life. And then, so the guy does this one, right? He gives him this, like, all right, go. And the kid instantly kicks Spanky in the chest. Straightforward kick, kicks him right in the center of the chest. My heart stops, like literally stops, right? No more beating. And the guy does this stuff, right? And he gives him this thing with his hand. And at that point, apparently everything is supposed to stop, right? Like as he gives a point. And as he's doing that, Spanky kicked the kid in the head. And then everything sort of mellowed out, right? He was not supposed to. No, not a good mix. Beer and Guy is a horrific mix. And I ended up so messed up that by the time the competition and stuff was over, Spanky's mom actually had to do the driving. Yes. Yeah, straight kicked the kid in the head. While I'm sure Calhoun knew that, like, the fight was supposed to be on a timeout when he did this one. I think he was just kind of pissed. Then they fought to a draw, literally. But the guy was so much bigger than Calhoun that, like, when it was over, Spanky was bummed out that he didn't win. And I was so freaking happy that the guy didn't kill him, right? That, yeah. But last night, right before we were starting to go live, he's done shows before. But last night, right before we started to go live, I started to get that same damn feeling. And I said to him, I don't think I'm going to watch. And I go, it'd probably be a better idea if I don't. Then you don't feel like I'm looking over your shoulder. And I will go back and watch it afterwards so that I can tell you, what I think or whatever. And Spanky said, nah, it's nothing like that. Go ahead, stick around. But I had that same feeling, only for a couple of seconds this time. But it's a bizarre thing that you just don't. I don't think you ever outgrow, right? It's just not something that you're ever going to outgrow. Surviving together. Good to see you. Your middle schooler wrestles. Oh God, my heart goes out to you. Those competitions are overwhelming. Oh my God. Do you go and watch? Huh? Do you go and watch? I can't imagine. I don't know that I could do that. I don't know that I could do that, especially knowing that there had to be multiple fights in a day, right? Oh no, you got to be kidding! I dated a girl, the girl that ruined me for all other girls. Right? Everybody's got one. Hello, Roscoe's mom. The girl that ruined me for everybody else was an equestrian, like big time into that. It was a very big thing in where I grew up. I don't know if we got piano mom here, but the town I grew up in is big into equestrian stuff. Yeah. A really odd experience in a dressage. Anyway, the more coffee for Spanks from the East Coast. The Kitchen Witch Suzanne. Well, thank you, Kitchen Witch. DeAudrey Gore says, I never let my parents come to my debate contest because that would give me stage fright. No problem with a crowd of strangers, though. You know what? I think I get that. Yeah, but my first, I remember my first girlfriend getting, there was a, there was a episode where there was an accident and they had to put down one of the horses. And I mean, I'm not even being funny. It was pretty much the end of our relationship. We dated for a long time, and the death of that horse, she was never the same. I mean, she was never the same. She was really, really close with that animal, and she was never the same. Not with me anyway. I'm sure that Yeah, Calhoun, even sporting events. I mean, I've watched a lot of stuff. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. This is a phenomenon. This is a phenomenon. It really is. That we are becoming a society that Tracy, my 8-year-old grandson wrestles. He is tiny. It freaks me out. He wins most of the time, but I get pissed if it looks like those big kids are being mean. I always think, don't make me come down there. The funniest thing is you can Google parent comes out of stands during child's sporting event, right? And you'll only see about 100,000 clips of film of parents that can't take it anymore, right? That literally can't take it anymore, who jump down out of the stands and punch the kid that's wrestling their kid, right? Or body slam the kid, or tackle a basketball player that's just been having a real good day against their son or daughter. This crap happens all the time. It really does. And I have to, as bad as the Sackler family is, and as much as I hate them, I need to give them credit for saving the child that was fighting Calhoun that day in California, because I'm fairly sure that without Huffman LaRoche and the drug Valium, I might have gone down there and fought that kid. And Calhoun did fine; he didn't need any of my help. But I have no right being in a place where my kid was doing that. And it was really funny because when it was over, right, that was a conversation that me and his mom had. I said, "Oh, he can keep doing this forever. He can do this as long as he'd like to. I'm never gonna be in a room to watch one again. Doesn't mean I don't want to watch it. I'll just watch it on tape. You guys get that thing, because I will go like this and sit and shake in my living room. But once I know he's here, right, I'll feel a lot better. Oh yeah, I took. I was chewing them like they were like it looked like I was taking good and plenties or something. It was. I'm not joking. I had a huge bottle of them. At the time, I used to drive down to Mexico and get them and sell them. So I had like the $90 right. I mean the 90 unit right from Huffman LaRoche. Used to come 90 to a bottle, big brown gnarly bottle. I have watched him. Do I show up at his fire dance with a fire extinguisher? Calhoun, you told them? You told them. I did that once. Once I did that. He also said he wasn't going to mention that, but that's pretty funny. Uh, your little nephew plays soccer, and some of the parents are straight up aggressive. Oh no, you know what? Yeah, that's also a horrific phenomenon, isn't it? Um, you know what? He's a pretty good kid. His mom did a pretty good job raising him, if you want to know the truth. Yeah, yeah. Safety protocols are essential. The I completely, I completely get it. Right, I understand why parents get that involved, but I remember watching my brother could. I kind of wish we were on the Scoville couch this morning, because my brother was a ranked tennis player, really really good at it. His car accident kind of changed all that, but he was a really phenomenal tennis player. And there was a local kid whose father drove this kid to play tennis, and drove him so hard, right? Um, he drove this kid so hard that, and all he wanted in life, honestly, was for this kid to beat my brother. And it was uncomfortable to watch, right? And I think that my brother's a pretty good dude, but I remember watching these two play, and I know my brother, and I know that when it was over and the kid, lost, my brother beat him 6-4, 6-4, that my brother could have beat him 6-0, 6-0, but didn't want to send them home to that dad that way. For real, it was pretty ugly. It was pretty ugly stuff. Um, yeah, his mom turned out to be a really horrifically bad lawyer. Tommy, why didn't you name your kid Spanks, or name your son Calhoun in the first place? I didn't name him Calhoun. He did. So I'll back up and tell you this story again, but I didn't name Spanks Calhoun He did. I'm not even being funny. So I drove to the Northeast because there was a guy that owed me a bunch of money and had been ripping me off for a long period of time. And in the beginning, it was playful ripping off. A couple of $1,000s here, a couple of $1,000s there. Not that big a deal. I had been mailing him illicit substances in the mail. The Peruvian marching powder by the kilo. And he would then Western Union money. But he wasn't Western Unioning the right money. And he would say things like, oh, dude, a guy came in, and there was always this great story of how he got robbed, or a prostitute ran off with half of a stash or something. There was always this great story. But he had just gotten robbed, according to him. So we went up there. Yeah, Russ, stick around. It's coming. Stick around, Russ. It's coming. Happy birthday, Russ. Yeah, I might just do that. Stick around. So we drove up there without telling him, right? Because if he just got robbed, I kind of wanted to see what his house looked like. So we piled in the car and we started driving. And we drove because this was in the early days of cell phones. And if I disappeared on a cell phone for, say, 8 hours or 6 hours, this cat would have known I was on my way to him. So we drove, right, the entire way. And we got there. I went up and I knocked on the door. And oddly enough, this guy had a house that was decked out. The thieves didn't take a whole lot of anything. There were video game systems, and I mean tons of them, because I was letting this guy make more money than you can imagine. Like, he was really making a lot of money selling this stuff, because I was selling it to him dirt cheap. I mean, dirt cheap, about 50% of what it costs normally in Boston. So he was killing it. But he was blowing all the money and acting like a jackass. So I come in, and once I realized that there was nothing in there that was, nasty or dirty or whatever, I went and I got my wife and my kid. And I said, hey, my family's here. You and I are going to have a talk. I'm going to let him sit on the couch, watch TV or whatever. Well, when he and I came out from our conversation, my son had been taking DVDs and CDs and things like that off the wall. This was the early 90s. He had like neon displays that held all of his CDs and DVDs. You remember those hideous things, right? They look like towers or whatever. Well, he had like a wall of it. Spanky is taking them out and like frisbees and throwing them around the room, right? Well, there was a guy that used to, there was an old cowboy that used to shoot people in the back. His name was Haystacks Calhoun. The guy that was, that I was sending the dope to used to like to refer to me as Haystacks Calhoun. And he said to my son, I said, hey, stop taking stuff off the wall and throwing it around the room. You're going to get a spank, right? I'm like, you want to get a spank? And I said it about 6 times, right? You're going to get a spank. Don't do that. You're going to get a spank. I didn't spank him, but because he did stop each time I told him. But then I got my friend, his name was Brendan, and Brendan's going, don't listen to your dad. You want to play frisbee with those, play frisbee with those. Your dad's just angry, right? Because he's Haystacks Calhoun, and he's like playing these games with my kid or whatever. He goes, but you don't have to listen to him. They're son of Haystacks, Spanks Calhoun. And that was it. Just like a casual reference, right? He was also a famous wrestler in the 70s. Yeah, he was based on a very old dude from the Wild Wild West. The original Haystacks Calhoun was pretty fond of shooting people in the back, and some apparently just for snoring. But he was very fond of basically cutting a deal, shooting somebody, and then taking all the money, which is the joke that this guy was making, that I was always getting off with all of the money, which was pretty funny. But we got in the car and left, me and his mom, and we ended up at a Burger King. And I said to him, hey, his name's Mike. I said, hey, Mike, what do you want? Chicken tenders, right? Chicken nuggets, or do you want burgers? What do you want? And he just didn't answer. And we're turning around looking at him, and it's like all of a sudden my kid was mute. And we just kept asking. And finally he said, I'm not Mike, I'm Spanks Calhoun. And the two of us just started laughing. And that was a long, long time ago. It was like 28 years ago or something like that. And he's just been Spanks Calhoun ever since. So I wouldn't have named him necessarily Calhoun. I was pretty fond of the name that we started out with. But he started demanding to be called Spanks Calhoun at a pretty young age. So and then, nicknames that they have a way of catching on with your kid. You know what I mean? Like his mother, the nickname that his grandfather calls his mom. He's been calling her that since she was 2, and she's a grown woman. She's my age. He still calls her that. Those nicknames tend to stick. So Spanky or Calhoun, that's just been around for. I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to break that habit. I probably should. He's a grown man, but it's pretty ingrained at this point. Well, you know what, Stay Spirit? I wish that there wasn't a large drug dealer involved in the story because that's kind of a bummer. But no, it's one of those things that, yeah, it's pretty funny looking back on it. Rowdy Roddy Piper in They Live, which is pretty much, which has turned out to be campy nonfiction. Avena Sativa, you're funny. You really are. You're pretty funny. Lots of people born in April. Yeah, lots of great people born in April. You haven't heard that story before. I don't know how you guys, well, you know what it is. Tommy Stiggs Social Club. He says, Tommy, I am in meetings, but wanted to stop by and say hello. Few of your crew stopped by the social club. I hope they like the vibe. Yeah, I was actually there. I lurk, man. I'm there every day. I'm there every day, my man. You're my show prep. You're the lifeboat for the lifeboat. You're my show prep, Tommy Stiggs. I dig it. It's got a vibe that reminds me an awful lot of my childhood, of my grandparents, of my dad's side of the family. My dad's entire side of the family just really feels like being in the social club. Jennifer Folsom, we'll throw you in on the birthday coattails. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shannon Smith, please be safe. Please be safe when you run. Yeah, you know what? Yep, Hitler was also born in the month of April. A lot of really weird things happen around his birthday. I always get really dicey right around the 20th of the month of April because ugly things happen. Lacey Silver, thank you. I appreciate the hell out of that. You know what? I feel like $1,000,000, man. I really do. Thank you, Tommy Stiggs. You have a blessed day as well. And Tommy, send me an email. Right? I don't have your email. Send me an email to TommyScoville@gmail.com. It's my name, man. You can't miss it. Let's get together and do a show. I'm not doing the normal stuff anymore. I've handed the show to my kids. So let's get together and do a show where we can just, we'll film one and do it as an instant premiere, or we'll go live. But I'd love to do a show with you, Tommy Stiggs. You're a fascinating cat. You really are. You're a fascinating cat. Excellent. That's what I like to hear. See that, Miss Sunrise Dawn? I've seen you over there. Miss Sunrise Dawn loves your show. I've seen Sweet Tea's been over there. I know I see a bunch of crew members over there. You know why? Because it's such a similar vibe, people. I say this all the time. You don't need to go find a sobriety channel. You can go find a channel that's talking about crochet, right? What you need to do. Yes, it is. Yeah, you could put it in the about. Absolutely. If you go to the about, any one of those emails will get to me. Thank you, my man. Perfect. Did the comment miss us? Let me tell you how behind I am on that one, Jill Anderson. I didn't know the comment was coming, but I'm telling you what, I'm going to be pretty happy. Mark Wages' channel's name is called Wages World, and I became a member yesterday because Wages now has memberships. You know, Lacey, I feel amazing. I went and saw my kid yesterday, and at his place, not mine, and I walked through the front door, and he just said, "Yeah, you look different," and I feel different. I really do. Avena Sativa says, "I'd love to see you do more with Bryce on Esoteric Atlanta." I love Bryce, no joke. Bryce is so much fun to work with. She's one of the coolest people on the internet. I mean it. Yeah, when I get to that part of the country, she and her husband, you know what? They've been together so long. I think I can call him her husband. I don't know that they're actually married, but they've been together forever. So. But he's a yoga instructor, and I would love to go do yoga with someone that's good at it. I really look forward to kicking it with the two of them. And she's actually really good at yoga too. Nicknames are amazing. My sisters call me Jano after Dano. They say Bookem Jano. Of course, the old 70s version. You know what? Shauna B really is, isn't he? He really is, isn't he? Yeah, he's killing it. So yeah, and as far as nicknames go, your nickname is creepy. Makes sense. Makes sense. So it's not just a clever nickname. I see. Um, yeah, nicknames are funny. I'll be really honest with you. One of the biggest things that chaps me, and I never used to let it fly, right? That you can't give yourself a nickname, right? I really got a problem with that. Thank you, Z Dub. That's what I'm talking about. That right there is Mark Wage's channel. And you know what? Get yourself a membership. This is for my birthday song, Wood. All right, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna get one. I am gonna bust it out. But you know what I'm doing, don't you, Russ? I'm burying the freaking lead. If I do this now, everybody's gonna bail, man. People are sticking around to see if I'm really gonna sing you happy birthday, and I promise you, I am. Not a lot of people are. I have officially shut it down, but I can't do Russ like that. He really is an ace deuce at this point. So, yeah, you got it coming, brother. I'm gonna make it happen. I really am. You watch. But I'm burying the lead. If I do it now, at 36 minutes in, man, the show's as good as over. Everybody will bail. Today is 4 of my cat's birthdays. They're litter mates. How cool is that? I hope, Miss Sunrise Dawn, that you're having a birthday party. I mean, if it was one cat, you could probably let that slide. You know what I mean? If it was one cat, you could go, hey, happy birthday, kitty. That kind of thing. But man, you got 4 of them. You better be throwing a birthday party. There better be a little kitty cake and all of that. They sell kitty cakes. They do. You know what, Tracy? It's working. Keep it up, hon. It's working. I feel a lot less stress in my life already. That's the gospel truth. I mean that. So, and I will thank you for the prayers. I very much believe in it. I very much believe they work. I spend more time praying than the next guy. I promise. For real. I spend a lot of time in prayer. It's one of the reasons I walk as much as I do. Right? It's a great time to talk to God. And Hummingbird, good to see you. Hope you're feeling well. Tree hugger, there's a lot of truth to that. Well, for those of you who are watching, Tree Hugger said, if you engage with everybody, that'll bum you out. You don't have a lot of time for yourself, and there's a lot of truth to that. Auntie Wombat says, you are right, Tommy. One of the only nicknames I ever had was given by my brother. He called me Esther because he said the way I looked when I was made up made Aunt Esther look good. The way people get nicknames is some of the silliest crap in the world, isn't it? What a great way to get a nickname. I'm just going to call you Esther because, right? We've had some really good ones, man. There are, oh no, you're getting a happy birthday, brother. But you got to stick around for it. See, now I'll get everybody. No one's leaving. They're going to stick around for that. It's that voice I have, the dulcet tones of Tommy Scoville. People don't leave for that, man. Did I get to eat Hatch chilies while I was in New Mexico? You betcha. You betcha. For those who are not familiar, the Hatch chili, not a ridiculously hot chili, super flavorful chili though. My brother loves it, and if Johnny Scoville loves it, it's a good chili because that man is the chili head. But yeah, I'm a fan. I'm also a fan of the town, man. You drive through Hatch and you're in Chillyville. Man, there's no mistake in it. You drive through, there's a massive chili. We actually stopped and took a look at everything there. Took some pictures. Yes, this walker likes to walk and talk to God. Sir Tedrick, I get it, man. I really do. I get it. I think it's one of the coolest times to do that. It keeps my brain. I don't know. It's like I've been describing my my malfunctioning brain lately as like an 8-track, right? And at least 2 of them don't work the way they were supposed to. One of my brothers was nicknamed Puffa in high school. He told me it was because of his bushy hair. I don't think he told you the truth. That's all right though. You gotta come up with the people. Yeah. I've had so many nicknames over the course of my life, and every one of them has been handed out. I can't think of too many I could tell you the stories on here for. Oh, I'll tell you the day I got to state prison, the day I walked through the door. The guys in prison look at other guys in prison. When you walk in the door, people look at you and they think, would I want to fight this guy? And if not, why? Right? Honestly, that's the first thought, that it's just one of those things. So, unlike any other place on planet Earth, every single person I meet in prison says to me, damn, you got big hands. Like, I hear that occasionally in the real world, right? I might hear it 2 or 3 times a week. Someone will comment on the fact that I got big hands. In prison, I heard it every 6 minutes, because the dude's looking at you are thinking, damn, I wouldn't want to get hit with that hand, right? Because my hands are like this big. And they look, when you meet me, the people that have met me will go, damn, that guy's got big hands. Like Ben Turner is, I don't know if you've ever seen Ben. He's 8 feet tall, right? He's like this much shorter than Andre the Giant. So when you see Ben Turner, who's got massive hands, it doesn't really look like he's got massive hands, because he's just a really big dude, gentle giant, but he's 8 feet tall. So it's a little different when you see Ben. It kind of blends in. I'm 6'2", right? You see me, my hands look ridiculous, but in prison I got it every day. So I was there about 15 minutes, and the guy goes, hey, pause. And I just kept walking. Like, I don't, that no one's ever called me that, right? Yeah, they sizing you up, right, Russ? Every single, and you hear it all the time. Like, even if it's not you, you'll be sitting at the table and a guy will go, dude, see that dude just came in? Look at the guns on that fool, right? Look at the guns on that fool. And they're not doing it because they're, admiring the guy. They're thinking, oh man, this is a guy I don't feel like fighting, right? Because there is a lot of fighting that goes on in there, whether you like it or not, But yeah, pause. So for my state, that state prison sentence, from the second I walked in the door, they called me pause until I walked out. And I've been called hands. My friend Turtle said I had Clydesdale hands, and that stuck. And I was getting called Clyde for a long time. And when I was at they were calling me Clyde. I've been called Hellboy. Okay? I got that one for a long time. 1 yard for about a year and a half, and everybody just called me Hellboy, which was lovely. But you can't say that's not your nickname. Hey man, that's not what you're going to call me. And you just got to be happy that you don't get one that's really awful, right? Because I've heard some that are just. My brother, by the way, bestows the funniest nicknames in history. However, you don't always want to be on the backside of Johnny's creativity. You know what, Russ? I've known a couple of those, right? Hammers. I've known a few. I wish I could find it. I mailed home a thing from federal prison where I made a list of every single nickname on the yard I was on, right? Literally, like all the people I knew, I made a list of all the nicknames. And then I did this like comedy thing where I talked about it, where I said, the animal kingdom is represented, right? And I went down the whole list of all the people who's, we had a weasel, and I went down the whole thing, and I'm like, and 3 guys here are called Rat, totally different reason. But it's really funny. I wish I could find it, man. Your dad was bald and his nickname was Dome. Checks out. It's probably a pretty decent, the Mexican dudes that used to sell me, though, used to refer to me as Pelon, right? And sadly, that Pelon thing got around really quickly. Like if I wanted to rob somebody, I had to either wear a hat or grow my hair out. Because when they saw the bald guy start walking up, like I swear to you, I'd get a number from somebody, be like, yeah, you can call my guy. And I'd start walking up to the car and he'd go, oh no, just put in gear and drive away. I robbed a lot of them. Once I realized after the first one that they don't carry a weapon, that they just kind of give you the stuff, man, when I couldn't come up with money, hey, I'm Hawks. I've heard that one too, Russ. Yep. And then that does come from the brothers. I've had the brothers call me Ham Hawks. That is a big one. One of my nicknames was Olive, after olive oil, because I was so skinny when I was a teenager. One of my best friends called me Dippy. Didi or Dippy. My husband still calls me Dip sometimes. I used to call, Pelon, right? Pelon got, that one got a lot of use. I've said this before, in prison, if you're missing an arm, right or left, or if you're missing an eye, right or left, your nickname is Lefty. Missing a hand, right or left, nickname is Lefty. Missing a leg, right or left, nickname is Lefty. Tough. I remember being in a unit where we had 2 guys missing an arm, which sounds like it would be crazy, but people shoot a lot of dope, you get a lot of people that get their arms removed, right? Calhoun, I don't think a fingertip is enough. You're going to have to lose a little more than that. But we had a guy that was missing his left arm, and they called him Lefty. And we had a guy missing his right arm in the same freaking unit that they called Lefty, right? And they started calling him Black Lefty and White Lefty. I'm like, can't we just do the guy with the right arm and call him Righty or something? Like, that would make way more sense. But it ended up with, I've told you guys, they called me Rock, and I was in a unit with 4 rocks at one point, for real. So they had a white rock, a black rock. It was just, it got kind of silly. Stumps. There you go. I've heard that one too, right? Sir Tedrick says, my nickname and my twins was Toothpick because so skinny growing up. Tell you what, though, you get the last laugh, don't you? I hope you're still skinny. It's really funny because when you were a kid, man, the things that people end up, picking on people for. Then you get older and realize that, boy, it's a really nice thing to have to worry about being a little thin, right? Instead of having to worry about what you got to do to take 60 pounds off for your health, right? or whatever the doctor says you need to drop. Twins are cool, to be sure. Mom was going to call you April, but you were born in March. I think you can call somebody April even if they're born in March. You know what, man? This is important. This is important. I'm not kidding. You may not think this is important, but this is important. Because I'm able to separate Nordberg from OJ, right? For real. The scene where Nordberg is telling Frank Tribble about the fact that he needs, he's like, I'm in pain. Get this man some pain meds. No, heroin. That's kind of a tall order. You're going to have to give me a little time on that one. That whole scene is one of the funniest scenes in any movie. So OJ's a dirtbag. He's done a lot of really bad things. I hope something really horrific happens to him today. But Nordberg is a character in a film. And on the 12th of June, when that high-speed chase thing went down, I figured right then I needed to separate Nordberg from OJ, or I was going to ruin a very important part of my childhood, because those movies were really a big part of it for me. I'm sorry, what? Are you telling me OJ is dead? No! How did nobody drop that headline? Did you hear this? What? OJ Simpson's dead? No way. Somebody tell me how. Somebody tell me. What? What killed him? I wonder what he's doing right now. Good Lord. Cancer got him. Well, yeah. Hate to see that. Your senior jersey had twin number 1 and twin number 2. That's actually awesome. That really is awesome. Yeah, he's a great football player. The guy could play the game. I mean, right? Yeah, that creep can roll. Rick Spicer, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you, right? I don't really care what God you pray to or believe in. I don't even care if you believe in one. I have a feeling that wherever OJ just went to, it's a little bit less pleasant than where he just came from. And that's a terrible idea. Thinks it's a little smoky right now. That could be the case. He certainly was not a good person. I wonder how many people are going to eulogize him. He died yesterday. Well, shows you how busy I was. I was too busy waiting to see if my son was going to get kicked in the chest. I had no fear whatsoever that Spanky was going to kill it. Honestly. He lasted longer than Aaron Hernandez, if we're talking murderous NFL players. Kristen Melinda, you're dark as hell. I love you. Don't get it wrong, but you're dark. I dig that. He lasted longer than Aaron Hernandez, if we're talking murderous NFL players. Well played. That is something. He had prostate cancer. Well, there's justice. Huh? Burnt orange juice. Yum. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like it, Wolf. Machine. A lot of people are laughing out loud. Isn't that funny? Booyah! And the hits keep coming. For those really young, he did do commercials for 1-800-COLLECT. Alley Oop says, I am so down with dark humor. Love it. Love it. You're right. Spanks killed it last night, and that is a popular sentiment. My kid is on fire. You know what, cup of coffee? I'm not his judge, but I have a feeling he didn't make his peace. You know, I want to touch on this. I'll do it really quickly. There's 230. Let's see how fast I can run people off. As a believer, there's a lot of people that struggle hard with the concept that as Christians, if he decided to take Christ and become a believer right before he died, that all that stuff he did, he gets a pass on. But let me explain something to you, because this one gets brought up all the time. It says if you truly repent. That's what it says. It says if you truly repent. Yeah. And then you ask God for forgiveness. I assure you, cats like that don't have the capacity to truly repent. I have a friend named Alex. You will see him in the boat from time to time. He doesn't go under the name Alex when he comes in the boat, right? But he killed somebody. Wasn't happy about the fact that he killed somebody. He pled guilty at his arraignment. He didn't go through any of the process when the judge said to him, no, you don't understand. These processes are in place to protect you. He said, I don't have any right to be protected. That's somebody who is remorseful, truly remorseful. And the judge said, you plead guilty to this today, you're getting a life sentence. He said, I took a life. Right? He has been pardoned. He did his time. He got out. He was put on lifetime probation. He has since been pardoned and is no longer on lifetime probation because he did everything right. You know why he did everything right? Not because he wanted to get off paper, but because he lives every day with the fact that he took someone's life, and it is something that he lives with every day of his life. You know? So my gut is there are people out there who make really horrific mistakes in life, right? Ask Russ. And then we end up in bad places, right? And you can get out and you can decide that that's a path you don't want to walk anymore. And you can really change who you are. The vast majority don't. And they don't not because they're bad people, and they don't not because they're evil. They don't, for the most part, because of drugs, right? Or untreated mental illness, or the inability to feel comfortable in their own skin. But cats like Orenthal, James Simpson are evil. They're like Drew Peterson. And I promise you, whatever deal they try to cut before they leave this planet, they're not going to be repentant. Right? They're not going to feel bad about what they did. I promise. Hey, prayers for your son. I hope he gets the gig. Taekwondo. No, I wouldn't call what OJ did a mistake either. I'm referring to convicts in general. But there are people who murder in vicious ways who then find themselves, new creations. It happens. I don't think it happens very often. I really don't. But my friend Q killed 2 people. And he didn't do it by accident. Right? He shot both of them in the head. Didn't do it by accident. Now, those people had weapons and they were shooting at him. But if you do something in the commission of a felony, it doesn't matter whether you're defending yourself. If there's a felony being committed and somebody dies, that's felony murder. And felony murder carries life in prison. So it's he did write a book explaining how he unalived 2 people. If I did it, I believe is what he called the book. Unpredictable Tony. I respect that, man. I do. I absolutely respect that. I wish I was a better person, and I'm not just saying that. I really do. I wish I was a better person. But on the bright side, I'm blessed that I'm forgiven, because I can't pull off. What Q did was definitely different than what OJ did. Make no mistake. And what Q Diddy did as a kid, that's my problem with what Q did, right? What Q Diddy did as a kid. And he was sent in by people who, for all intents and purposes, were his father, because he didn't have a dad, but that's how these people acted. And they took wild advantage of a 17-year-old kid and traded one of the best human beings I've ever met's life for it, you know? And the crazy thing is, he got out of that room. They didn't catch him in there, which means he got out with all the money, all the dope, all the stuff he stole, which went to those guys who sent him in. But that's the story of the world, kind of, ain't it? You know, there are a lot of good people who get taken advantage of in this world. It's what you do after that, right? If the only thing Q ever did good was me, then he really did a lot to make the earth a better place after he screwed up. I don't think OJ left a long list of people that he helped. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's just been philanthropic as hell. Speaking of hell, that's where he is. And God forgive me, that's where I hope he is. All right, are you ready? You better be here, Russ, because if not, I'm going to be salty. Did you, Calhoun, did you want to, sing a duet? Because I don't see Calhoun reaching forward real quick. You notice that? Oh, yeah. See that? Ran as soon as he heard it was coming. That's all right. I still love you. Hey, Russ, I am going to have to demand a lifeboat night yard out of this or something. I'm not seeing him either. Boy, if I sing this and he's not here, you don't know the trouble he's going to be in. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Russ Yukon. Happy birthday to you. Jennifer, I would so much rather do the da-da-da-da-da, but then Johnny will come out of the office angry. He hates Green Acres, man. He just does not like Green Acres. Kelly Gerling, I am saving a Marilyn Monroe style birthday song. I am going to be doing a Marilyn Monroe style song, but I'm not going to be doing it until summer. There he is. All right, Russ. Happy birthday to you, my brother. My life is enriched because I met you. Rogue Hedgie doesn't like it either. I'm really sorry. I don't know if you caught last night's show, but if you did, I've been doing that a really long time. I don't know how it started. It probably started, I would say, somewhere in the 70s, man. Yeah, probably in the 70s. Just got kind of hardwired into my dome. You know what I mean? Did they just announce that OJ did it? Oh, died. They just announced it. I thought you said OJ did it. They just announced that. Good, Russ. Love you, brother. Green Acres is better than the Bee Gees. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know that I could go that way. Auntie Wombat, should we have a moment of silence for him? And we're good. Okay, that's all right. Miradira. Yes, I think so. All right, people. Well, that's the news, and I'm out of here. I got to go make some phone calls and do some business things. The boat will be live at 7:00 tonight. The captain will be Tracy Range says maybe he wrote a deathbed confession. Well, wouldn't that be a pistol, huh? Male brain is not fully developed until 25. I believe that that's 100% true, and I think because of what we're doing to it with things like this and dope and all of the other things that we're adding on, I think that number is getting older. When people say 40 is the new 30, right? I don't think that just is to cheer you up anymore, right? I am not the guy at 50 that my dad was at 50. I freaking promise you, right? In any way, not physically, not mentally, not, my dad was so much more wise and mature at 30 than I was at 50. It's just we are different. I think some of the stuff we're eating, everything. You blame tax season for your tardiness. Oh, you had to bring that up. I was having a pretty good day, but I need to think about that today too. It's 30 for males, 25 to 28 for females. Last I saw, says Scoob. And you know what? I think Scoob probably has seen it recently. I would believe the scoopster on this. I hope Ron Goldman's sister and dad get some some of OJ's estate. That would be lovely. He's no longer protected by a lot of the things. Um, if he did a charitable remainder trust, he might have been able to duck underneath some of that so that he didn't have to give that up. I don't think he's particularly bright. And his estate was considerably smaller. The only thing he had left at this point was the home that he was staying in and his pension, which they can't touch, right? By federal law, you can't take someone's pension even if they commit a crime, unless you're Drew Peterson. They took his, and he is salty as hell about it. It's actually a Supreme Court case. He is the only person in America they've ever done that to. I'm not kidding. And he is, boy, you should hear him go off about it. It's all he talks about. It is all he talks about. He is not happy about it. I don't know what it's not like he's going to start flipping properties, from cell block number 9, but whatever. I expect to be mature around 70. Did it work out for you, Kat? Because it doesn't seem to be catching up to me at all. But I'm smart enough to know that since it's not really going in that direction, I'm going to hand it off to the next generation and see if they can get wise and mature. And that brings us to the top of the hour, people. The cat is chasing birds from window to window. You saw over on Johnny's channel, didn't you? The cat got a hold of a bird. Like, she went out the door and it was one of those, she got low, went around the corner and jumped and caught a bird. The bird actually got away, but Squirrel had this thing in a tackle midair with a bird. No joke. So yeah. Now she's there's no living with her. She's just at every window. It's absolutely awful. All right, people, I got to get to work tonight. 7:00 California time. Be here or be squared. I'll be watching. I might be watching on replay, but I'll be watching. Calhounus.
It is I.
All right, Captain. You got the con.
You gonna leave me here?
What's that?
You gonna leave me here?
I'm gonna leave you here. I love you.
I don't think I'm gonna keep it going.
Oh, you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
It is your boat. I'll talk
Have a great day, Admiral, as you were. Well, there you have it, folks. He will not be away for long. Yeah. He will be present. His presence will be felt. He will be singing birthday songs, apparently. Russ, that was pretty cool. I considered doing the duet, but I figured that wouldn't be a good. Y'all don't want to hear that. All right, y'all. I'm gonna and get this this journal all buttoned up this morning so that we can access it finally. I'm gonna put together some more material, maybe a little different. I don't want to do the same thing every day, I think I want to keep it fresh. I do want to keep it like lifeboat centric. Like last night was pretty fun, but I really would like to get to like some lifeboat core material. So maybe this evening we can talk about something that's near and dear to our connection and our hearts. So that's my goal. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you later. Stay tuned for the journal. Hit like, subscribe. Much love.